Anil Desai.
Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir. Sir, education sector influences the future of the nation, and therefore it should ascend in importance. Simply put, education can fuel government's ambitious programs such as Make in India, Digital India, Skill India. The impact of this sector can be felt both by the industry and the common people, and of course, it is an investment into the future. A well-educated population is the key to the economic growth of the country. Therefore, the government's agenda to revive the economic growth must include strengthening of the education system further. Sir, the national policy on education stipulates that investment in education should be gradually increased so as to reach a level of expenditure of 6% of the national income as early as possible. So if we happen to compare the last year's budget with the current one, there is a rise of 3% in the budgetary allocation in school sector. And of course, there is an increase of 7.3% in the budgetary allocation for the higher education compared to the last year provisions. This increase in the education budget is a welcome step, and I'm sure very soon expenditure on education will reach its desired level of 6% of the GDP. So it's a fact that overall condition of most of the schools, that to government schools across the India, is poor and needs to be improved. And therefore, this should be given topmost priority over other scheduled educational programs. Also, midday meals program needs strict monitoring and accountability if it is to continue further. In order to improve gross enrollment ratio, that is GER, across the schools and colleges and increase the student retention, we have to focus on increasing collaborative efforts between the private sector and the government to promote quality education for all. There is a need to substantially add quality institutions to ensure Indian students do not need to look overseas for higher education. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, which is the vehicle for right to education, has been allocated 22,500 crores in this budget, an increase of 2.2% over the last year's budget. Out of the resources provided by the government, only 8% schools comply with the infrastructure norms mentioned under the RTE Act. 8.3% schools have single teacher. It seems that overall pool of resources by the union government is inadequate to fulfill RTE norm in all elementary schools. Basic school infrastructure, teacher training, teacher recruitment, community mobilization are some of the basic factors to improve quality of education. I hope Honorable HRD Minister will do her best to cater to the needs of the respective categories successfully with the resources available and build up a strong education system in the country. Similarly, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan for universalization of secondary education and Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan for higher education are already in operation, and they too need not only proper budgetary allocations, but proper monitoring for its success. To promote girls' education, I thank the government that they have announced a number of schemes like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Pragati, Udan, Swami Vivekanand Scholarship for single girl child in last 2 years. Sizable budgetary allocations are needed to support the above schemes in its implementation. I am sure that Honorable HRD Minister would ensure the success of these schemes in the years to come. Here I would like to congratulate HRD Minister for the timely intervention and taking steps to discontinue the 4-year undergraduate course of DU University, Delhi University, which was not recognized by the authorities and which was not approved by the authority. And it would have spoiled the careers of not less than 4 lakh students had it allowed to continue. While commemorating the 125th anniversary of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, I would urge upon the HRD Minister to allocate sufficient funds towards special scholarships to SC/ST students and a special drive to send deserving students abroad for higher studies. Higher education in India affects around 30 million youths in the age group of 18 to 23 years who are enrolled in our colleges and universities. Around more than 300 state universities and around 35,000 colleges, which account for the more than 90% of the enrollment in higher education. It is observed that state universities suffer from poor governance, insufficient faculty, infrastructure, and shortage of funds. I am sure Honorable Minister would take corrective steps to strengthen the state's higher education institutions. Sir, rupees 1,000 crore have been allocated in the current budget for infrastructure development of higher education. I hope it is meant for the state's higher education institutions. In his budget speech, Honorable Finance Minister said that government would strive to help 10 private and 10 public institutions to become world-class institutions. This is a welcome step towards empowering select institutions of excellence to compete at the global level. So here I would like to mention about vocational courses which were there, which were started by the central government in the 90s in banking and insurance sector. It was a vocational course at 10+2 level, which ensured service in the banking and insurance industry. And for around 5 to 6 years, these courses continued and gave jobs to thousands of youth in the country. And really, that was a very effective step by the government to address unemployment problem. I think abruptly, why the then central government knew what was the reason for stopping that. I would request Honorable HRD Minister to reconsider restarting of those courses which would address the problem of unemployment. I'll take 1 or 2 minutes, sir. The creation of Higher Education Funding Agency has been announced with a fund of 1,000 crore initially. This agency can play catalyst in designing a new scheme of educational loan with a low interest and long payment period. Currently, only 1.5% students are getting educational loans due to high interest rates and lengthy procedures. Most of the student fraternity is deprived of this costly facility. Sir, recently, this is one or two points I'm making. Sir, recently, litigation which is pending in the Supreme Court regarding national eligibility and entrance test, this has created furore in most of the states, sir. In the state of Maharashtra, what we had envisaged for, and the state government, Maharashtra state government had taken the care. Those students who had prepared for this test, that HET, today only they are appearing for the exam, they must have appeared for the exam, thousands and lakhs of students. Here, the main thing is the syllabus of NEET is based on CBSE level, whereas in the state governments, it is based on the state level. So mixing of the two syllabuses, at least government should take care. I would urge upon the Honorable Minister to take it to the Supreme Court to see that this is not mixed up, and at least 2 years period be given to the students so that extensive study, they take a proper period, and that will be of great help to the students. And the last but not the least, I hope the HRD Minister, while framing the new education policy which is on the anvil, I think she will take all the stakeholders on board and make a very strong and comprehensive education policy. Thank you.